Welcome to this masterclass on 9 leadership things you can do when you don't think you are a leader. I firmly believe that everyone is not a leader. Not everyone has a leadership gift, but everyone can do leadership. Everyone can take on the role, the place, the position of a leader and do leadership style things that have a really healthy impact upon a church and upon people as well. So I don't like to think that I don't like John Maxwell's definition of leadership as influence. I think it's too simple. And I think it's just saying any influential act is a leader in place and doing that. I tend to think that leadership is a gift. Leadership is a skill that can be developed as well, but leadership is primarily a gifting that comes to people. But I do believe that everyone can build their leadership capacity and ability and skill set. And they can do leadership things even when they don't believe that they are a leader. So let me give you 9 things that if you feel like, gee, I'm not much of a leader, here's 9 leadership things you can do that will bring leadership to a group of people and to others. And will also help you become a skillful leader. And that may not be as a capacity of someone with a leadership gift, but it still can be leadership that is skillful. This may also be a teaching you want to share with your team as well, to help them understand that leadership is not just the prerogative of someone who has the title leader, that we can all be involved in leading others, in being a leader, even though we don't feel particularly gifted as a leader. So let's look at these 9 things. First one is leaders embrace the chaos of discipleship. I've spoken previously about the fallacy, I think, of pathways to discipleship pathways. I think pathways are brilliant for assimilating, integrating people into a church community or into a serving area of the church or into a small group or into a ministry, into a program, into an event. Pathways are great. But I don't think you can create discipleship pathways. I believe you create discipleship opportunities through various programs, events, and ministries in the life of the church. And I think leaders have a mindset that says, you know what? Discipleship is chaotic, it's organic, it's based around people, and it's going to get messy. It's going to get unpleasant along the way. And a leader's disposition and attitude is, let the chaos come and I'll work with it when it comes. Rather than try to keep chaos away, you recognize the fact that chaos is going to come at various times in the life of a church, in the life of a family and an individual. I like Andy Stanley's little proverb, solve problems, manage tension. And leaders understand the difference between a problem you can solve and a tension you can't resolve at all. You actually just have to lead it. You have to manage it. You have to work with it. And in a lot of cases, you have to live with it. There's tensions that we live with in our lives. So leaders embrace the chaos of discipleship. So to develop the leadership skill of embracing the chaos of discipleship, I believe means lowering fear and elevating prayer. So lower the fear base, or what if things go wrong, and go, no, Lord, I trust you. Whether things are going brilliantly or whether things are going very ordinary, my hope, my faith, my trust is in you in this matter. And I think that's a leadership mindset that can be developed over a period of time, especially developed through, I think, a place of prayer and commitment to Christ. A second thing you can do when you don't feel like a leader, it's a leadership thing, is to boost your communication channels. Good leaders, healthy leaders, communicate regularly and with clarity and simplicity. And whatever communication channels you're using, now they can be face-to-face communication channels, texting, video, social media, WhatsApp, Slack, Asana, Basecamp, all those communication tools that teams use. Have a look at your communication channels with the group of people that you're working with. And it may be the people that you're leading, maybe the people that you're alongside, it may be the people who are leading you. think through, how do I communicate with them? How can I be better at communicating with them? For instance, with text, be rapid in responding to text messages. Text messages are what you use when you want a fairly quick response, at least within an hour or two. Be quick in responding to text messages. Email, I tend to go a day or two without responding to an email and feel very comfortable doing that. I don't want email to be an automatic bang. I've got to get on to this sort of thing and be at it. Facebook, social media, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, all those Facebook social media channels rather. Learn how you can utilize them to inform, inspire, integrate yourself with the people that you're working with. Facebook groups have become currently a really good mechanism to connect with a limited number of people around a specific topic or interest or hobby. And you can use, I think, Facebook groups really well in church life to boost your communication channels into the people that you want to connect with. And also, I think WhatsApp can be similar around that as well. So look at your communication channels and see, how can I make them more effective, more efficient, more integrated to who I am and what I'm doing? Third leadership thing you can do when you don't feel like you're a leader is always be recruiting. Don't consider yourself to be a non-recruiter. I'm just a worker. I do stuff. I arrive, do stuff, go home. Lose that mindset. Leaders have a mindset of, hey, who can join us in this unbelievably brilliant endeavor of building the church, advancing the kingdom? So always be recruiting. And in fact, the most effective recruiting method used in churches to recruit people into serving and volunteering and being part of the team and helping to build the church, the most effective method is the tap on the shoulder. It's a friend going to a friend and saying, hey, I'm on this team in the cafe. Why don't you join us on this cafe? Hey, I'm on a greeting team. You're really warm and friendly. Come and hang out with me and help greet people. Hey, I'm in the music team. You can play keyboard. Why don't you come along to a couple of practices? Just utilizing that, you know what? That's the language of leadership. When leaders recruit, they're doing leadership. When you, as a worker, as a leader, as a pastor, as someone who's serving and volunteering, recruit someone into the area or into another area you're not even involved in, or you might recruit them just to come to your small group. You might recruit them to come to a prayer meeting. You might recruit them to come more regularly to church, whatever it is. You might recruit them to be a prayer partner. That's leadership. You're influencing people. You're moving them into better realms, into more influential realms. So always have on your mind, where is this person at? Where could they be at? How can I be influential in recruiting them into a place? ABR, always be recruiting. It's a leadership skill you can develop. Number 4, utilize face-to-face moments. The person who's one of the best at doing this on the run is Pastor Phil Pringle, the leader of our C3 Church movement. Phil is a good friend of mine at various times. I've had meals with him, been able to drive him around at events in our church. And somewhere along the way, pretty well every time I meet up with Phil over a meal or in a car, somewhere along the line, he'll utilize that face-to-face moment to disciple me. He'll ask me a question. I remember once driving him to our church for a meeting, and as we're getting close to the church, he just pops this question out of the blue. Are your best years ahead of you, John? I thought, man, what a question. Driving you. I'm just trying to relax here and get you to a meeting. And I said, oh, okay, let me think about that. And I thought about it, and I thought, yes, they are. I feel like they are. I will feel that like, in fact, I've discovered since that for all my days, regardless of what age I am, the best years ahead of me, because one day I'm going to be resurrected and living with Jesus Christ for all of eternity. So my best days are always ahead of me. But he was asking about this life and ministry and my leadership role. And I was able to say, yes, I think they are, Phil. And that actually has proven to be true, because he asked me that about 10 years ago. And I've definitely had some wonderful days in the last decade and some more to come as well. Phil is a master of utilizing face-to-face moments. So when you're with someone, think in that moment, What's a question I can pose that will lead us in a great conversation? What's a moment of care and compassion that I could show that will just help a person in a moment here? What's an area that I could open up about my own world that will cause this relationship to deepen, cause this relationship to go into new places? So utilize face-to-face moments with people because they're important, they're special. And can I say, if you're in a leadership role of any level, when you show interest in someone else's progress, someone else's development, it always boosts that person's sense of esteem and well-being, and they feel better for your interest. So never discount the fact that your interest in them in a face-to-face moment, never discount how impacting or significant it can be, because it can have a brilliant impact upon people. Let's look at number 5, specific intentional encouragement. Pick this up from my good friend Dave Gilpin, who pastors Hope City Church in the UK, or around different parts of the globe, actually, a multi-site church. I remember Dave talking about this as a conference of learning to be intentional with specific encouragement. You know, criticism is often specific. We don't like this about someone. We don't like what they said or how they look or what they did. But encouragement can be very general. Wow, you're a great person. Oh, that message was brilliant. Thanks so much for being my friend. Whereas go for specific intention encouragement. Sometimes what I've done in churches when I've been training and utilized this particular point, I've said to people, over the weekend I'll speak at different things. Why don't you over the weekend take up a challenge to come and intentionally, specifically encourage me? Don't come up to me and say, gee, that was a great training, or that was a great message, or I like, just like how you operate, John, or whatever, you're a good guy. Come up and say, that point about specific intentional encouragement, I'm going to do something with that tomorrow when I'm around some family and friends. Specific intentional encouragement is a leadership trait. You see, one thing that leaders do is they boost people. Transformational leaders not only have a sense of where they're going, they have a sense of how to bring people on board, left and right. Let's gather together. Let's approach this and move this thing as a team together. And then leaders can look at individuals and note their different giftings, their different abilities, their different skills, and can sharpen those giftings and skills by saying, I really like the way that you approach new people and make them feel welcome and help them to relax. I really like the way that you share personal stories in a way that's not too revealing, but really makes me know that you're a human being and I can relate to you as a human being. So you find something specific and you zone in on it and you boost it. Now, obviously, if this is a positive thing in a person's life, when you give attention to it and spotlight it, you actually are causing it to grow even further. So if someone says to me, John, I love the fact that you listen and lean in and you ask questions and you don't interrupt me when I'm talking, I go, wow, that's actually good habits. All right, I'm going to get better at those habits because someone's noticed I'm already doing them. Why don't I just boost them a little bit more? So when you spotlight something with specific intentional encouragement, then someone's more than likely to lift that in their lives. That's what leaders do. See, I think these things are not easy to do, but they're simple. They can be hard to do because you have to think about them. You have to give yourself to them. But this indicates to me if they're simple, then I think people can do them. I don't think they're beyond the reach of most people. I think we can give ourselves to these leadership skills. And even when we don't feel like we're a leader, we can do leadership things that indicate to others we know how to lead. Number 6, define the win. Again, this is a leadership ability, a leadership skill. Leaders have an ability to clarify outcomes. They clarify the objectives. They clarify what is the win we're aiming for here. In fact, defining the win is the simplest form of vision casting. So whether the win is, hey, we want to make sure every new person in the church on Sunday gets a big smile from someone who's going to greet them. You want to make sure that their visitors have an awareness that we have a guest lounge for them, a visitor's lounge for them after the service. The win might be that we see 5 young people baptized in the next 6 months in our church. I don't know. Whatever the win is in your area of ministry, define it. And it may be defined sometimes over that short period of time on a Sunday morning, or it might be over 6 months. But leaders clarify what is a win. And it may be also a win that you're dealing with one-on-one with someone, where they're saying, I really want to get better in my prayer life. It's really kind of sucks at the moment. My prayer life is not going well. And you go, well, what would look like a win in the next 14 days for you to pray? Wow. I don't know. What would a win look like to me? And you get them thinking about the next 14 days. What you're doing there as a leader, it's a leadership skill, is you're helping them to define the win. And you might define it for them and say, hey, what if you prayed for 4 minutes? Let's pick an unusual time, 4.5 minutes, 4 times a week. Well, 4 times the next 14 days, 4.5 minutes. You go somewhere quiet and you sit and you talk to Jesus for 4.5 minutes. Set your alarm and go for 4.5 minutes 4 times the next 2 weeks. Would that work for you? They go, yeah, I think I could do that. All right, that's the win. So you help them define a win. That's a leadership ability. Some cases you may want them to articulate and define the win. It kind of works either way in that situations. But leaders bring clarity. They bring clarity to the objective, to the outcome, to the win, to the goal that you're seeking. Okay, number 7, lift your energy. People can bring energy into a meeting, into a room, into a place, into a relationship, into an environment. They can kind of bring some enthusiasm. They can bring some focus. They can bring optimism. When you go into a meeting anywhere, in any situation, whether it's Sunday morning church, whether it's a leaders meeting, whether it's a gathering with your team, it doesn't matter if you're the leader or not the leader. Bring energy to that meeting. So there's a number of things you can do when you're going into a meeting, lifting your energy. One is turn up early. Don't be a latecomer. When you turn up early, you're actually bringing energy into a room. When you turn up late, you're bringing the energy down. There's a sense of, going to a team meeting with 10 people and 4 people rock in late, one after the other. And it just detracts from the whole sense of, hey, we're really glad to be here. We want to be here. There's enthusiasm. We're alive. We're connected. We want to do this together. People rolling late indicates, do I really want to be here? Am I that interested? Now, sometimes you get a flat tire. All good, no problem. But as a general rule, you lift your energy by turning up early. When you turn up, whatever bad situation you've got going on, something that's giving you anxiety or depression or sadness or whatever, put it off. Do a put off and a put on before you go into a meeting. Put off sadness, put off problems, put off worry, put off anxiety, put off that conversation that you're still fretting over. Put it off and put on love, joy, peace, gentleness, kindness, faithfulness, joyful smile, positive attitude, upbeat. I'm into this, I'm doing this, I'm giving myself. You can put on an attitude. Because I do so much flying, I decided many years ago that I would put on an attitude of, I love to fly. I love to travel. I love to go different places. I just put the attitude on. So every time there's a delay, something goes wrong, you have to get off a plane because it's not going to take you where you want to go. You got to stay a night in a hotel where you don't want to stay a night. I just go, you know what? I'm putting on an attitude of joy. I'm putting on an attitude of peace. Not going to be a complainer, not going to be miserable. I'm just putting it on. So you can lift your energy by those 2 simple things. Turn up early, put off stuff, put on, put off, put on, put off, put on, put off. Paul talks about actually putting off stuff and putting on love, joy, and peace. This will lift your energy, and then you can lean into the moment of the meeting that you're in. I love a story I read recently where a wife was talking about her husband, that her husband goes to church, and he has one clear view when he goes to church. He says, if I see a visitor being ignored or left alone or just people skirting around them, I'll make sure I'll go up to them and engage with them. I don't want visitors in our church to feel ignored. Now, they may want me to go away after a while. They might be very introverted, not want to engage. That's okay. But I don't want to allow that. That's a person who's decided to lift their energy into a situation. Leaders go into situations with energy lifting, and they bring energy to those around them. Okay, number 8, almost done. Couple more here. Focus your attention. Distractions are so multiplied. Here we go. These things, phones, so distracting. Put it over there so it doesn't distract me during this masterclass. We live in a life where it's so easy to get your attention unfocused on important, vital, essential things, and focused on things that are just time wasters, really. I'm recording this at the start of 2020. I don't know when you're watching this, but it's the 3rd of January 2020, and I'm recording this. And first day back at work after my annual 4-week holiday yesterday, I went back to work. And one of the things I did yesterday, I spent a lot of time just focusing my attention on what's my objectives this year. What am I trying to achieve this year? What are the outcomes I'm chasing? What are my goals? And just spent a bundle of the day, and I'm going to do more so today as well, just organizing my world so that my attention is focused on the things that are going to produce the most fruit. One of the key ways I do this is I use my calendar to do this. I'll block out time for content creation. One of the main things I do in my ministry these days is create content. Content like a masterclass, quick wins, blogs, Facebook interactions, all sorts of content I create. And I don't just create that on the run. I block out time to create content. I block out time to spend with Jesus. I block out time to do consulting. I do all sorts of things that require focus attention, and the only way I get these things done is by removing distractions, downsizing the multitasking, getting rid of multitasking. And I have to reset this button regularly. I'll tell you right now, it's January and I'm good to go. I'm focused, but I'll do a reset in April after 3 months. I'll do another one in July, another one in October. I'll do a reset every 3 months where I'll just go reset. Let's get rid of distractions. Let's focus in on the objectives and the outcomes, because let's face it, we all drift from what we want to achieve. Our leaders focus their attention on the primary vital things in their world and in their life. So develop that ability. Learn to lower the distractions and learn to focus your attention. Use your calendar to do this. Block out half an hour, 15 minutes, whatever it takes. Block out time to focus your attention on the vital things. Okay, number 9, reflect. Now, there is also a quick win on how to do a reflection hour, how to do a reflection time. And I've got a reflection toolkit you can download. You'll find it in the hub. It's there for you to access, and you just won't take too long to find. Actually, it's in I'm pretty sure it's in the developing leaders area. No, personal development area. What am I saying? It's in the personal development area. Got to get that right, of how to develop a reflection time as part of your process as a leader. There's a reflection toolkit there. And whoa, something just fell off there. Sorry about that. What I'll do is I'm going to leave that in the video, because that's kind of a bit of fun when things don't work properly, isn't it? I just gave myself a little shock with that little, something just fell off my microphone, but my mic's working. So this is the main thing. Anyway, if you got to this far in the masterclass, you got to see the blooper element, and I'll leave it in the video. If you go into the personal development area, the personal growth area, you'll see a reflection toolkit that you can utilize every 4, 5, 6 weeks to stop and ask yourself a series of questions. Now, everyone reflects, everyone thinks and ponders, but what I think is the important thing here is the intentionality around this reflection time that you do every 4 to 5, 6 weeks, where you stop and sit down and ask yourself a series of questions. You do pretty well. It's an audit, if you like. Interrogate yourself, a bit of a chat to yourself, and think through what's really important in my world. How can I improve? How can I grow as a person? Now, this is a leadership skill. I also have within the hub, and this will be either in the personal, I'm pretty sure it's in the personal growth area, about how to think like a leader toolkit. So thinking like a leader is different to personal reflection, but it requires a reflection time. So check out those two toolkits. What I should do in this masterclass is down below, put a couple of links to these so they're easy to find rather than me trying to tell you where I think it might be. I'll put some links in the page below. And if you're not utilizing these toolkits, I really encourage you to do that. Because if you're not a leader, if you think, gee, I'm not a leader, how do I kind of do things that are leadership things? Reflection is one of those things. Reflection is a leadership skill that you can learn and develop, and it will make you a better leader. So there you go. 9 leadership things you can do when you don't think you are a leader. I hope you can apply some of these and enjoy it. Give me some comments back on this masterclass. Really appreciate you tuning into it.